What's going on, everybody? It's Joel here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Adidas Powerlift 4s. These are the newest iteration of the long-standing Powerlift line of shoes. I think that started around like 2011 or 2012. Those were actually my very first pair of weightlifting shoes, and they still remain a really popular weightlifting shoe. One, because of the price, and two, because I think a lot of people that purchase these shoes aren't necessarily wearing them for like Olympic weightlifting. They mainly use these for like quote unquote squat shoes, gym bros. But for me, I use them for weightlifting, but I do see why they're very popular, like just normal, just like squatting, just normal gym shoes. But first off, I really like the design language that Adidas is taking with their new Powerlifts and their new Adi Powers. They have a more minimalist design. Everybody that has seen these has been like, oh man, those are really good looking weightlifting shoes, and I would have to agree. This is the gray colorway. I did have the red colorway as well, which I think is for sure the best one besides like the pink one, but I had to return those ones because they were just a little bit too small. But I think the gray colorway is actually really good too. So the upper of the shoe is now made out of canvas. It's not a synthetic material anymore. It's canvas, and it's flexible, it's lightweight, it's actually pretty breathable despite not really looking like it is. It's pretty much all throughout the shoe. The strap is canvas, the whole upper's canvas, the back part of it is, fully canvas, but it does have a heel counter in the back of the shoe, and you can kind of feel it there. The ankle collar of this shoe is really, really well padded. So the design kind of looks like the Power Perfect 3s, which I really liked, but those ones were a little bit lacking in the ankle area as far as support. These ones have a ton of cushioning in that area, so it's really comfortable to have these shoes on. There's no heel slip or anything. Really good decision to go with just a little bit more padding in that area. The tongue is a little bit thin, even though it is that canvas material. It never really bothered me, so I can't really comment too much about that, but it does not have any like straps on the side of it, so it kind of can move around when you have your foot inside of the shoe. The lacing system is just a basic lacing system, nothing special there. It's got this piping around where the laces go in, and then just like plastic eyelets. I haven't had any issues tightening these up, so I can't really complain about that. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The laces themselves feel a little cheap. They're a little bit thin, a little bit flimsy, but they stay tied. So once again, can't complain about that. The medial strap does what it needs to do. It's just Velcro. You just loop it through, real basic. Once again, entry-level shoe, so I wasn't expecting a whole lot going on there. The little ring is made out of plastic. I don't know how well that's going to hold up over time, but it should be fine. The midsole material, outsole material of this shoe is made out of EVA foam. It's dense for the most part. I mean, if I like squeeze it, there's no give there. So like I said in my Power Perfect 3 review, don't worry about the heel being EVA. There's probably no chance of you compressing it. I mean, you have to look to the Olympics, where there are weightlifters in the Olympics still wearing Power Perfect 3s, Power Perfect 2s. So most people are not going to get to the point where they're compressing that heel at all. If you press down in the middle of the outsole, it's not compressing. The back part of the shoe says Powerlift. It's got this little pull tab, once again made out of like canvas or nylon. Still blends in with the general minimalist design of the shoe. The insole of the shoe is removable, anatomical. It's thin. It doesn't add a ton of underfoot cushioning, but that's fine. They're comfortable shoes for the most part. Inside of the shoe, the drop is very, very gradual, and these shoes actually feel pretty flat. Once you have these on compared to other weightlifting shoes, you're going to notice that the heel of these is for sure going to be on the low side. There is nothing out there as far as what the actual effective heel height is, but I'm going to go on a limb and say that it's pretty much the same thing as all the Powerlifts before. It definitely feels lower than the Power Perfect 3s. It feels lower than the Romoleo 3s. feels lower than the Blastus, so I'm going to go with a 0.6 effective heel height. And who knows, it could be even lower than that. The outsole material is made out of full-length rubber. It's the same exact design and material that is on the Power Perfect 3s. Not complaining. Grip is excellent on these shoes, so once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Despite the upper being made out of canvas, these do feel like a really high quality pair of shoes. So even for the price, like $100, they feel really well built, well constructed. The canvas on them does not feel cheap at all. In comparison to the synthetic leather that they normally use, they still feel relatively well made. And I do really like the design of these shoes. I think that it's one of the better looking weightlifting shoes, even though there isn't a whole lot going on. So when you go to size your Powerlift 4s, go with your normal training shoe size. So in the past, I would have to size these down. I got these in both a 10 and a 9.5 when I first purchased them. The 9.5s were the red colorway, which I did send back because they ended up being a little bit too tight. These run true to size to like normal training shoes. Unlike the Power Perfect 3s that ran incredibly large, these are going to fit true to size. So from your normal weightlifting shoe size, you're going to go up a half a size. For your training shoes, you're going to go with the same exact thing. They're going to fit on the wide side. There's a whole lot of space in this shoe. It's a just wide shoe overall. There's no arch or anything, so if you had collapsed arches, you would not have to worry about that. If you had wide feet, this is going to be the shoe for you. The ankle collar, like I mentioned before, is very, very comfortable. It's not hard to get these shoes on. The fit is very comfortable in the Powerlift 4s. I'm never really that critical when it comes to flexibility and comfort of weightlifting shoes, generally because you want to be on the more stable side of things. Once you start adding in flexibility and comfort, then you start detracting from the overall stability of the shoe. And that's exactly the case with the Powerlift 4s. I do have to say that these are one of the most comfortable and flexible weightlifting shoes. The upper is really flexible, especially in the toe box area of the shoe. The middle part of the shoe is not that flexible, but it's still more so than most weightlifting shoes. So much so that I would say that these are probably the best weightlifting shoes to wear during a WOD if that's what you were looking for. I can see myself doing a workout that had like double unders, some bounding, some burpees, box jumps, maybe even a little bit of light running, because that's how flexible these shoes are. And they're fairly comfortable to wear. The underfoot cushioning is enough. They never really get too hard on your feet. I did wear them for one workout that was like squat cleans and ski erg, and my feet did not really get that uncomfortable, but then again, that workout was just only lifting. If you were looking for a weightlifting shoe to wear during CrossFit style workouts because you needed a little bit more mobility or stability for some of the tougher lifts like overhead squats, but you didn't want to detract from the flexibility of having a trainer on, then the Powerlift 4s are going to be the best shoe out there. But on the flip side, if you were looking for stability in a weightlifting shoe, then I would probably say you might want to look elsewhere, because the Powerlift 4s don't really deliver as well as some of the other options out there, the more popular options, like obviously Romaleos, Lice Tongues, Adi Powers, anything with a TPU heel that's going to be like rock solid stability is going to be better than the Powerlift 4s. They do have that EVA heel, and that's not really the detractor from the overall stability of the shoe. What is the flexible upper. It just allows your foot to move a little bit too much inside of the shoe. I guess if you were looking for a pure squatting shoe, it wouldn't be that big a deal because you can kind of get hunkered down, you can get your feet into the right spots, and then just go for your squats. But if you were looking for an Olympic weightlifting shoe, there are for sure going to be better options out there that are not going to be as flexible, but are going to deliver better on the stability front. And you don't really have to pay too much more for those shoes. Like, you can get the Power Perfect 3s that are $120. They have that synthetic leather upper, but what it does is it just holds your foot in place a lot better than the Powerlift 4s. Not saying that these are a slouch when it comes to stability or anything. They're just not compared to some of the other options out there that you might not even have to pay that much for. But then again, these are entry-level weightlifting shoes, and they should suffice entry-level lifters. I don't consider myself to be an entry-level lifter, so I'm putting these under a lot more load than some of the beginner lifters are going to put them through. Even still, I only really ran into a little bit of an issue during overhead squats where I had to balance a little bit more, 225 over my head. I did notice my foot rolling in a little bit more than on some of the more stable weightlifting shoes. But during back squats, I thought that these shoes were fine. I did use them for Olympic weightlifting, and I still thought they were fine for that as well. Though I would definitely recommend you pick something that had more of a taut upper that held your foot in place a little bit better, because those landings are a little bit less predictable than just having your feet on the ground and squatting is. Still, I do think if you are a beginner weightlifter, these are going to be fine for you. The Powerlift 4s retail for $100. I actually got these on an Adidas sale, so they were only $70. I think some other retail outlets have them for even less than that. You can usually find the prices fluctuate a little bit on Amazon. I'd say at $100, personally, I would probably spend the extra $20 on the Power Perfect 3s. I think those are probably the best budget weightlifting shoe. But if you were really strapped for cash, the Powerlift 4s are going to be an excellent shoe. I definitely think that these are a better looking shoe than the Power Perfect 3s, just because I do like the minimalist design. The canvas upper is interesting. I like the way that it's flexible. I like that it feels natural on your feet. It's comfortable to wear for extended periods of time, but it does detract a little bit from the overall stability of the shoe. And I'm very interested to see what the Adi Powers are going to be like, because they do have a very similar upper. I do like the fact that these are comfortable, they're flexible. You could probably wad in them, but that's not really my thing. If you were looking for a shoe for that purpose, this would probably be the best option out there. But if you're looking for an Olympic weightlifting shoe, this is probably not going to be the best one. Like I said before, I'd spring the extra 20 bucks. Go for the Power Perfect 3s because they have a little bit better stability. They hold your foot in place. They have that slightly raised heel, and that's going to help you out when it comes to ollie lifting. But when all said and done, I do like the Powerlift 4s. I think they're a great shoe, especially for beginners. Adidas did a really good job with the design of the shoe, and I think a lot of people are going to like them. If you are just looking for a squat shoe, or you're not really lifting all that heavy, these are one of the better options out there because of the price and the way that they look. If you have any questions about the Adidas Powerlift 4, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And as always, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.